Welcome to Coffee and Tools. This episode, by request, is really the smart car versus the Kia Niro, and not actually the cars themselves, it's the applications. What we're going to be looking at mostly is, I have a Class A RV. I want to tow something behind me so that I have transportation when I get to a campsite. And I wanted to look at the two cars and say, okay, which would you rather have, or which would you rather tow down the road? And the good towing and the bad towing. Both cars have big pluses. Both of them come up with some negatives. So we thought today, by request, let's take a look at it. So this episode, smart car versus the Kia Niro. Wow. Okay, to get caught up, Coffee and Tools this week, and somebody beeping a horn out there on the highway. The Volkswagen project was to be pulled by the RV. The whole plan kind of fell apart. So the Volkswagen has been sold, it's gone. And what I really wanted to talk about was the first car of choice, which was a smart car. That seemed like that's the car I should pull with an RV. But there's complications if you want to towed with your smart car versus something else, and the smart car has limitations. It is a very, very, very good car. I really like the smart car. All right, smart car. Wow. Okay, so that's not gonna work. Okay, what we really want to talk about was the smart car versus the Kia Niro. And the first problem with the smart car, obviously, 2 seats, tiny back end. But the gas mileage on a smart car is very, very good. Don't kid yourself, it really is. But the thing is, how good is it? Well, let's take a quick look at that, see exactly what it is. The gas mileage on a smart car is said to be so good that it's, just always like magic or something. There is the original window sticker for this car. And you'll notice that on the city it's 34 miles to the gallon. On the highway is 38. Those are good numbers. There's nothing shameful going on there. In fact, the car was kind of pricey at the time, but whatever. But that's the original window sticker with the dealer when the car was brand new. We've had the car quite a few years now, and I'm really happy with it because the service engine now light has never gone off. The car has never shown any problems. You start it up, you go, you drive, you do whatever you want to do. But there's issues such as, how much space do you have back here? You can get groceries in here. A whole cart full of groceries will fit in there. But let's talk about reality. I like to go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy something. Lumber, that is not going to fit in there. If I even buy a 2 foot by 4 foot piece of board, like plywood, it doesn't fit in the back of that car. So yeah, it's a good car, but it has limitations. The seats are hard. Don't kid yourself. They're not as hard as a rock, but they're hard seats, and they're not comfortable seats. So that's kind of a little bit of a bust right there, especially if you're an older guy, over 30. The interior is basic, and it really doesn't offer a whole lot of function. The AC will drive you right out of the car. It gets so cold in there, and there's nothing wrong with that, because in the south where I am right now, like today, it's going to be about 97 degrees, and we're in mid-September. A friend of mine just told me it's 57 in Canada where he's at, and it's all right. That sounds about right. But the car is a terrific car. It won't fit with every lifestyle, and there are going to be some shortcomings, I guess we'll call it. The other thing was I wanted to tow it, and I found out that the tow situation on a smart car gets kind of sophisticated. You actually supposedly have to have a braking system that the car will automatically stop if it breaks away from the tow vehicle. The steering doesn't like to follow the RV very much. You are pulling on your drive wheels, and you're pulling the front wheels as well. So everything is in motion all the time if you're pulling the car around. So it's not necessarily, the all-out God's gift of great cars to be towing. Yeah, a Jeep would be nice, but a Jeep has a rough ride, and it's kind of hard to get in and out of if you're an older folk. So the Jeep was no longer, something I wanted to do. But there's my smart car. Like I said, I love it, but the limitations and the towing gets sophisticated and problematic, and there's quite a few issues that I don't like. So we're going to go from the remember the gas numbers. Remember the gas numbers. The other problem I didn't care for with the smart car, and it's just something that is personal, I guess, but ride is pretty stiff, pretty noisy. And if you look at the tires right there, these tires are so small that even going over a set of railroad tracks will just about bounce you out of the seat at times and shakes the whole car. And it's like a big earthquake traumatic moment, and I didn't care for the ride. Very stiff ride, very noisy ride. It's hard to talk to your passenger when you're going down the highway because there's so much road noise coming into the car. It's uncomfortable. And the other thing was this roof that they have up here. It's a glass roof, and it's really cool if you're up north probably. But down here the sun shines in, so you keep it closed all the time. Well, the closing piece that they use is black, so the sun beats on that, heats the car up. Okay, so there's, like I said, there's good and bad about the car. So now, how do you replace this? Well, to get something else, I decided let's take a look at Kia. So I guess we're saying goodbye to the smart car, but it's a very cool car. I really like it. A lot of good things, a lot of bad. Okay. So now we're going to take a walk outside, and ta-da, the Kia. This is a Kia Niro. The Kia Niro is, well, it's an interesting compact, crossover, subcompact, and it's a hybrid. So it has a lot of interesting high technology features that we may or may not like in the future, but right now, let's take a quick look at a Kia Niro. The first thing about the Kia Niro is it gets 52 miles to the gallon in the city. And that beats the crap out of a smart car. It gets 46 miles to the gallon on the highway. That beats that smart car by a long shot too. And some of the consumers are telling me that they're actually getting better than that. The Kia Niro is kind of really a funny car because a lot of people don't know about them, didn't hear about them, or are thinking about them. It's a hybrid, so it's like half battery with electric motor and half gasoline engine. The gasoline engine is actually pretty decent in it, but the electric motor adds that extra almost 40 some odd horsepower. So you've really got a car that's not going to be super fast, super powerful, but it's going to be practical and very inexpensive on fuel. And it has 4 doors. Smart car don't have 4 doors. It also has a large back area here, which is really a happy thought because you get a lot of space back here. And in fact, the cargo area is like twice the size of a smart car. And also you can fold those seats down. And again, that's where, if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, pick something up, or you buy some tools, whatever, you've got space to put something in the car. It is a subcompact, don't kid yourself. It's not huge, it's not a gigantic SUV. They call it a crossover. I'm not sure why they call it the crossover, but the smart car's ability and ride and things, there were problems. This car has an extremely small, quiet ride. For its size, it's incredibly quiet. Don't kid yourself again, there is road noise, but not at the levels like that smart car. The tires are almost, old school size, so they're good size tires on this particular model. This is the LX Kia Niro. So it's going to do well on the highway, but also when it goes over a bump, you're not going to feel like the bump came through your butt. The seats is what really sold me on the Kia line. I looked at all the Kias because I was so entranced by their bucket seats. Are pretty basic. They're not super fancy looking, but they're not too soft, and they're not too hard. So they're a comfortable seat that you can stay in there for hours if you have to say drive long distance or something. And that was incredibly important to me because a lot of the new cars I looked at, the seats aren't comfortable. They're too hard or they're too soft, one or the other. This one seemed to fall right perfectly, in line. I call it the Goldilocks seat or something because it was just that good. The car is physical size. It's a little bit bigger than a smart car, so it won't be quite as easy to park, but I never had any trouble parking cars because of its size in the past, so why would a smart car make any difference to me? Not really. This is front-wheel drive system, so it will be dollied and towed by the, right there, by the RV. And the RV can tow this on a dolly and go down the road. There isn't a lot of restrictive laws at that point, which is a good thing. I don't have to have a special extra braking system or something to assist the car in braking when I'm stopping the RV. The dolly trailer will have a hydraulic system, but it won't be a sophisticated situation. Also, lighting. The smart car, because it's going to be towed, theoretically, you had to tie the electrical system into the RV system so the blinkers and everything would work. With the dolly, I don't have to have that. I might go ahead and just put something back there anyways on a board using the the wiring from the dolly. And again, the dolly has blinkers, it has brake lights and all that, so you have all these extra sets of lights going on back there. So I would prefer the dolly. The other thing I like about the dolly is you have 2 dead tires on the back of that Niro. That they're not drivetrain or anything. They're just free running tires going down a road. The dolly tires will be taking the mileage instead of my drivetrain, my transmission. I mean, nothing's going to be moving in that front of that car, so the car won't be doing anything more than just dragging its 2 back tires, which means minimal tire wear, but also minimal resistance to the road, which the smart car was not really able to do that, not fully. So that's the differences. And I think in terms of looks, I prefer the look of the Kia Niro, because I think it's a pretty, it's a sort of a sporty looking car. And it doesn't have a lot of power, but it's all about practicality. It's practical. Coffee and tools this week. We will be getting more and more into the RV situation here with this as we get it ready for the road. I'm still doing a few more modifications in there, which we're going to film. I haven't been doing any filming over the summer because it's been over 100 plus around here. Yeah, it's been hot. In fact, even today it's still stupid hot, but I've got a little breeze right now, so it's a little bit, it's okay. But hey, that was just to catch everybody up on what's going on here today. So see y'all later. Bye.